helped a little cicada out of his shell this morning. Well, not out of his shell, but it was flipped upside down, and its wing was looking actually really bad, and I didn't think it was going to be able to fly, but I think it actually just hatched, so maybe its wings are still like forming. Like, 'cause this one on the left was looked a little hurdy. I put it in the grass so it wouldn't burn up on the pavement. I don't know if I made its life harder or not, but I've never really looked at a cicada up close, so I just figured we would say hello while we could to Mr. or Mrs. Cicada, the cicada. So, I showed you the little cicada I saw this morning, and I read it on the Spirit Animal website because it was literally just sitting on the sidewalk upside down, and I had to go and pick it up and help it, put it in the grass. I read about cicadas, and apparently they're supposed to be in trees, so I took it over to a tree, which it did climb up, but I feel bad because it looks like one of its wings just isn't gonna spread, so I guess it can't really fly. But last night, my partner, I was telling him about the 2 different jobs I applied to, and he was like, "You sure?" He asked before, like, "You sure overnight's not gonna mess with your circadian rhythm or whatever?" I was like, "I don't think so. I stay up late." And he's like, "Well, what are the pros and cons between both the places?" And I said, I read a lot of pros and cons on Reddit, but it was everyone working like a day shift. He was like, maybe look up more specifically for like working overnight at each place and the differences. And I was like, that's a good idea. So I typed into YouTube, working overnight at Wegmans, and nothing really came up. But this one video came up of this doctor talking about working overnight shift is killing you. And of course I had to click on it. And I was listening to him talk about why it's not good to be exposed to, and I didn't think about this, I don't know why it's not good to be exposed to artificial light at night. And then I was like, oh yeah, that's right, I'm not going to be like working by candlelight. I'm going to be underneath a bunch of fluorescent lights at night, which I wasn't thinking about. He explained it. He was like helping a nurse who was working third shift is what it's called, and talking about what her vitals and everything were like before while she was working there, and then she had switched shifts and her vitals were getting better, but then they had to switch her back to third shift, and then he showed what her vitals did when that happened. And he said it can cause a lot of fatigue, inflammation, autoimmune disease, which I've been struggling and working to make sure I don't develop, especially as a human design projector. They are prone to developing autoimmune diseases. And so he was like, yeah, you don't want to mess with your circadian rhythm. And when he said that, I thought about the cicada. And I was like, oh my God, the cicada, the circadian rhythm. So I feel like the cicada was like, hey, don't forget about your circadian rhythm. But now I'm like, okay, well, I just applied overnight to both places. I'm just going to go in person and be like, actually, I changed my mind. I need to work during the day. Again, the main reason I wanted to work during the days or overnight was because it'd be easier to drive my vehicle with the expired inspection sticker, because then I won't have to worry about them really being able to see it that easy while I'm driving. So I'm going to tell my partner about the video and see his thoughts too. And I guess I will look into daytime positions, I guess. I just thought that was really interesting. I'm currently in the middle of crocheting. I got a book the other day when we were at Barnes & Noble for myself. It's a crocheting book. It shows all these different patterns that I hadn't learned yet. And I actually learned that I was doing one of my stitches completely wrong the entire time I've been making tops, unless I'm watching a tutorial. So it was kind of crazy to learn that I was doing a half double crochet. Not doing a half double crochet. I think I was winding up just doing a double crochet. But I'm making a top right now. It's just going to be like a simple, this is hemp fibers, which I thought was really cool. So I'm making a little hemp crop top. So I'm just working it till I like when it's right to my belly button and then to a certain part of my chest, and then I'll make little straps for the top, and then I think a tie in the back. Well, I don't know, for me sometimes I like to just pull it over and it's on instead of tying it up in the back, and my boobs aren't that big that I have to worry about that. But I do want to make ones where there's like little ties in the back to adjust for different sizes, because I'm contemplating selling, like doing like a thing on Etsy where it's like, hey, you want a crop top, you can just place an order and tell me your dimensions so I can try, because I saw, this isn't to get into a long tangent, I saw on Etsy someone selling some, but they sold it like just with a sizing chart. So she's like making them in bulk, but someone who had a large chest bought one, and obviously it's not going to fit her perfectly because your dimensions are unique. So I feel like it makes more sense to say, send me your dimensions and I'll make the shirt based on your dimensions, instead of just making shirts and saying, see if you can fit this dimension that I made. But that's just me. But anyhow, now I'm going to sit with the whole circadian rhythm overnight thing, because I don't want to, I'll just be making my health matters worse, which is my whole goal has been trying to reduce my amount of anxiety and stress and fatigue. So I'm going to look into that, try and finish crocheting this. I've officially moved into my sister's room. I finished organizing and cleaning everything in here today as my offering for taking up space. So yeah, I will check in with you guys when more things are happening. Yay! No, I'm looking a little crazy. My sister's getting ready for prom. Such a beautiful dress, by the way. I'm making a Mother's Day and Grandmother's Day gift. I crocheted a little flower and I made a card to go on it, because this is what you do when you're balling on a budget, but it's also fun to be creative while you're doing a birthday gift. But I withdrew my application for the overnight position at Wegmans and reapplied for a daytime position at Wegmans. So now I have another phone interview on Monday, and then I reapplied for another place for daytime grocery position as well. This is starting to get really like tight. So now I'm gonna try and work at these places during the day, which just means that I need to go get the van inspected, so I don't have to be afeared of getting pulled over without an inspection sticker in the windshield. So that's what's happening right now. The cicada thing really got to me, and I'm glad that it did, because I want to conserve my health and my well-being for the remainder of my days here on Earth. So if that means not working at night with artificial light and throwing off my circadian rhythm, then that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I'll check in later. All right, yesterday was the day of the mothers. Today, I'm on my way to go and put in an application for a local organic grocery store, as well as a major chained grocery store, for employment. We had a rental car for going to my grandmother's this weekend, so my mother said I could drive that, so that's really nice. Still have about a week where I definitely need to have some sorts of income coming in, so I trust that today is going to be the day I receive clarity on specifically what position it's going to be, where it's going to be, why it's going to be. I'm looking now for some sort of hydration for my body. I do not believe I will be encountering any. Oh wait, yes! Destiny rose water. Oh yes. Soak it up. I can still have sunburn from the beach a couple days ago, but I'm on my way. Yeah, that's nice. I'm on my way to go and see what I can see and be what I can be at the time that I can be it. So, wish me luck. I shall record. I have arrived at the first location. I have a pen. I have a chipper attitude. It looks like the people who work at the crystal shop next door just opened. That's pretty cool. I'm just gonna go in, get a vibe of the place, and then I'll decide whether or not to grab an applique. But I chose this place because it is the only local organic grocery store. It's not like owned by a corporation. It's just a local, which is something I want to like encourage, is local, organic, sustainable, helping the local community type of farm, produce, etc. and so on. So I'm gonna go in here, we'll see what we see. Wish me luck. On the way here, I did see Here We Go Again, which I thought was interesting. I was like, here we go again with what? And then I saw something about a sign saying increase, and then I saw obviously a bunch of signs, but we'll talk about that later. I just saw the angel number 5533. Gonna check it out in a minute. Gonna go into the crystal shop because it just feels good to go in them, and I haven't been in one in a while. And then I'll tell you about what I felt about that place I was just in. It's so beautiful. I'm just trying to make sure it's kind of showing me the history. Oh my goodness. So I just left out of the grocery store filling out my application. I felt great filling out the application. The only thing that felt interesting was looking at the line of customers waiting to ring up, and none of them looked very happy. There's quite a lot of people I've seen wearing masks, which is kind of sad, but I guess that just is what it is. And then I went over to the crystal shop and I walked in there. And the only reason I really felt called to go in was because when I was filling out the application, one of the questions was, what was your favorite job you've ever worked? And I was like, oh my gosh, when I worked at the crystal shop in Denver, it was so much fun and I loved it. And then I was like, I should probably go and check out that crystal shop. So I walked in, it felt good. It's a little on the smaller side. They have another location as well, but this one would be way easier to park and get to. So I grabbed an application from them. Not entirely sure what their pay is. It would just be cute, but I just grabbed one, I think maybe just to feel somewhat close to potentially working at a crystal shop again. Now I'm about to go to the other location so I can speak with the guy who sent me an email that I accidentally deleted because it was in my spam folder, and see what I can see with him and go from there. But as far as this place, I really like that it's a local organic place. I don't know what they're gonna pay or if they're gonna even contact me because they have a very specific way of contacting people. They said, don't call us at all, ever. We will contact you. So I'm like, great, I'm just gonna have to wait and hope that you somehow appear in my environment. And so I'm going to the other place now, even though out of all these places, it's probably the least aligned with my values out of all the places. That's where I'm going now. And yeah, I'll see you when I get there. Didn't realize how much time I was running out of, but I just stopped at the Holy Foods, and the guy I was supposed to speak with was on his break, so I left my contact info. Oh wait, I gave him my nickname. Whoops! Mercury's not supposed to be pre-shadow anymore, but it's the name I prefer to go by, so hopefully he doesn't get confused. But yeah, I just went in there, he was on his break, went to the customer service, went to someone in grocery, left a sticky note. So we'll see what happens. I assume that because they're the most corporate, I'll most likely be hearing back from them the quickest. So that's just kind of how that goes. So I didn't realize I was almost out of time to drop off the rental because we drop it off today. So I'm on my way to meet my mother so we can drop off the rental, and then I'll be back to having the van as my transpo. My wedding anniversary is in 2 days for the 2 years. Gift for year 2 is cotton, which I thought was kind of funny because we're both trying not to wear, any, well, we aren't wearing any synthetic fibers or plastic clothing or gasoline clothing, so I might just try and crochet him something. I hope I showed things that I made for Mother's Day. Did I record that at all? I don't think I did. They're really cute. So yeah, most likely gonna be working this place. It's the closest. It's the probably most guaranteed highest pay. I know it the most out of all the locations. I would love to support the local organic store though, but there were no, obviously the people who own the business weren't there, so my trust is left to the fact that someone's going to take a look at the employee applications and notice the cute little stars that I put in the corners of the paper to make it more stand outy. We'll see. I'm going to the final location that I need to go to, introduce myself. Hopefully they're most likely not going to be there. The manager over the department that I'd want to work in. I'm going to leave my information and hope that now I will know where I am to go. I still am a little, obviously frustrated that my original idea to go to the INA next month isn't aligning financially or integrally according to the perspectives of others around me. But it will feel good to can I speak? It will feel good to pay off my debts and have more financial freedom. So I'm just looking at it that way. I have a lot of gratitude because I have somewhere to live. I'm living at my mother's house. I have a vehicle that can technically get me there as long as I don't get pulled over. I will be making enough once I start working to have gas to transport myself. I have, for the most part, food. Some days, you know, I'm fasting it a little bit, but I'm still quite blessed. I have most of my health. I can walk, I can talk, I can breathe, I can see, I can hear. I'm a very able-bodied being, so I'm very grateful for all of those truths in my life. So if I just need to do this for a couple months, I need to do it for a couple months. So I'm going to record after I leave from out of the last place, and then I probably will update once I have confirmed which one I'll be working for, just to save the like, I'm going here now, and just kind of like meet you at that point after this talk with them at Whole Foods. So I forgot there's no air conditioning in here and that this window doesn't really roll down. So it's also gonna be a little toasty. I also have all my wood that I had to take out of the garage to prepare for the turn of my mother's husband. So it's gonna be an interesting drive to get there. Have you ever almost caused an accident because a spider was on your body while you were driving? That was me. Okay, so I just left. I went and spoke with Rob as the grocery assistant team lead or some kind of team lead something or other. And he said that they actually just filled the position for their full-time position to a part-time team member, which I think is fair. So I said I understood that. He said that they aren't currently looking for any daytime right now, but that they will be hiring for an overnight position in the coming weeks. I was like, okay, and I'm not trying to do overnight because the artificial light thing. So I guess it's been clear to me that coming here and looking at that is my answer, that it's not this. So this Whole Foods is probably a no-go as far as employment, but that's okay. I'm still waiting to hear back from the other Whole Foods with the girl that I knew from my other Whole Foods, because I just gave him good contact info for me today, so hopefully that'll happen. Or the other grocery store that was local will actually contact me, which would honestly be like a miracle. So it was still nice to go introduce myself. Little did he know I was Team Member of the Year 2018 for Whole Foods. They're missing out one of the best workers to ever do it. I'm just saying. So now, on the way here, I was contemplating, because I told you a spider had jumped against my leg while I was driving. I was like, you know, I would really love to be able, because, you know, spiders weave and I enjoy crocheting. I just don't like being rushed to crochet something. I would love to like crochet stuff and then sell it, but I want to use hemp fabric, or I guess I could do cotton, but I really want to try and use hemp. But the place that the Lion brand used to sell hemp fibers, but when I bought it, they were going out of sale of the hemp, so they don't have it anymore. So I would have to like think about somewhere new to buy hemp fibers and do that on the side while working somewhere else on the side. So now I've eliminated this location. My last option now is, I don't know, it's either the other Whole Foods or the other grocery store, or I have to start looking somewhere else again. So at least I went. I'm proud of me for driving out here. I'm gonna go to the Goodwill that's across the street, see if I can find any thrifty finds. My husband can send me some money to buy it, because I spent the last $15 that I had to my name on my grandmother's plant that I got her yesterday. Is a hosta. It was so beautiful. The white lining on the leaves. Oh my god, it's so pretty. So I'm gonna go to Goodwill now. Look who I see again. My phone is about to die, but I had enough battery to talk about the fact that Yarn Bee has a yarn that has 85% acrylic and 15% hemp. Why? Why would you do that? That's like putting an enemy together with the savior of all fibers. Like, I can't find any just hemp fibers at all. Now that my phone is almost not dead anymore, I wanted to show you guys what I've been working on since I got home. I had a little bit of hemp yarn left that I had been working on a shirt over the weekend, and I have finished it. The very first shirt I made was this one from my Luna Corazon. These shells are not on here, but I got a choker from Hawaii that I never wear because it had a black base, and I just don't really wear a black base choker, so I cut the shells out. And I'm going to sew them onto the piece. Then the next shirt I ever made was technically this one. And I'm not adding shells to this because it's hard to see, but I just wore this the other day. I quite enjoyed it. And then I made this purple one to mimic a shirt that I used to own that was made out of polyester. Or had a proportion of polyester in it, but this one's a little big because I didn't have a book yet for like how to do this correctly. So I think I'm going to unravel this and redo it. And then I just made this one over the weekend, and I actually sewed the shells onto this one. And I like this one, just a simple kind of crop toppy shirt. These are more like I'm being fancy. These are I'm just out being practical. And this is kind of my color wheel, basically. These are the colors I like to wear. Purples, greens, blues, and white. So I think I'm going to crochet, four, five, six. I'm going to crochet 3 more. So I have a week's worth of crochet tops, and then I'll have a couple of basic t-shirts, and then I think my wardrobe will be complete. And I'm going to downsize quite a bit, but I'm proud of myself because it's quite a bit of work. Excuse me. And my neck is starting to hurt because I do not have the proper sitting space. So I have to like lean forward to do everything. But I'm going to work on my sisters here soon because it's easy to get started. Do one for her, and then I'll probably unravel my purple one and do that one. But I kind of want to give them names. I just haven't thought of the names for them yet, but I thought it'd be cute to give my shirts names. Make me bond to them, give them some more personality. But yeah, it feels good to be able to make your own clothing. I would love to find more hemp, because like I said, I have 2 hemp ones. Oh, yeah, these 2 are made from hemp. These 2 are made from cotton. So the more fancy schmancy ones are cotton, and the hemp ones are more of my simple back to basics, which I like. So I'm going to just sit these here, be proud of my achievements, and get started on my sister.